Welcome to this video on cardiac physiology, presented by Dr. Ali Rizwan. The heart is a strong, muscular organ that beats regularly to pump blood throughout the body. It is located in the thoracic cavity, behind the sternum, and is protected by a fluid-filled sac called the pericardium. The wall of the heart consists of three distinct layers: the endocardium, the myocardium, and the epicardium. The heart has four chambers: the right and left atria and the right and left ventricles. It acts as two pumps separated by a septum. Four valves ensure that blood flows in only one direction through these chambers. This diagram illustrates the flow of blood through the various chambers, valves, and major vessels of the heart. Deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium, passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and is pumped to the lungs. After oxygenation, it returns to the left atrium, moves through the mitral valve into the left ventricle, and is pumped into the aorta to circulate throughout the body. This chart summarizes the path of blood through both the right and left sides of the heart, highlighting the transition through the lungs. Here we see the pulmonary circulation process, outlining the sequence of blood flow from the right atrium through the pulmonary system to become oxygenated. The cardiovascular system includes two main circuits. Pulmonary circulation is a low-pressure system responsible for gas exchange in the lungs, while the high-pressure systemic circulation delivers oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. The heart's electrical rhythm is controlled by the sinoatrial node. Signals travel through the atria, the AV node, and the bundle of His, finally reaching the Purkinje fibers to trigger coordinated heart contractions. This diagram shows the complete conduction pathway of the heart, tracing the electrical impulse from the SA node through the ventricular fibers. This waveform represents the electrical activity of the heart, showing how specific impulses correspond to the depolarization of the myocardium during the cardiac cycle. The ECG trace consists of several parts: the P wave representing atrial contraction, the QRS complex for ventricular depolarization, and the T wave for ventricular repolarization. Changes in electrolyte levels can alter the appearance of an ECG, as shown in these examples for conditions like hypokalemia, hyperkalemia, and calcium imbalances. Heart rate is regulated by the autonomic nervous system to meet the body's needs. Without these extrinsic influences, the SA node would maintain a resting heart rate of approximately 100 beats per minute. The heart has its own dedicated blood supply. Approximately 80% of the blood reaching the heart is delivered by the left coronary artery, which branches into the left anterior descending artery and the circumflex coronary artery. The remaining 20% is supplied by the right coronary artery. This diagram provides a detailed view of the coronary arteries, illustrating how they branch off from the ascending aorta to distribute blood across the surface of the heart. The cardiac cycle consists of two primary phases. During diastole, the heart relaxes and the ventricles fill with blood. During systole, the ventricles contract, pumping blood into the pulmonary artery and the aorta to circulate throughout the body. This comparison highlights the difference between systole, where the heart muscles contract to eject blood, and diastole, the phase where the heart relaxes and refills, allowing for the next cycle to begin. This visual illustrates the progression of the cardiac cycle, showing the flow of blood through the chambers during diastole, ventricular systole, and atrial systole. Heart sounds are generated by the opening and closing of cardiac valves. These movements create vibrations that produce the characteristic lub-dub sounds heard during a clinical examination, known as auscultation. The first heart sound, or S1, marks the beginning of systole as the atrioventricular valves close. The second sound, S2, marks the end of systole as the semilunar valves close. In addition to the primary sounds, other heart sounds like S3 and S4 can occur during specific parts of the diastolic phase, providing further insight into cardiac function. Blood is transported throughout the body via a network of vessels. Arteries and veins typically share a three-layered structure: the tunica intima, tunica media, and tunica externa. Capillaries, however, consist only of the tunica intima. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. The aorta, originating from the left ventricle, is the primary artery for systemic circulation, branching into the ascending aorta, aortic arch, thoracic aorta, and abdominal aorta. This image provides an overview of the circulatory system, mapping the distribution of blood through the major arterial pathways. This illustration further details the branching patterns of the major arteries and their relationship to various organs. The coronary arteries branch from the ascending aorta to supply the heart. Other major branches from the aortic arch supply the head, neck, and arms. while the abdominal aorta eventually divides into the iliac arteries to supply the lower body. Arteries are categorized by their function and structure. Elastic arteries are closest to the heart and maintain pressure, while muscular arteries and smaller arterioles regulate blood flow and vascular resistance throughout the body. Capillaries are the smallest vessels, with walls consisting of only a single layer. This thin structure is essential for the efficient exchange of gases, nutrients, and waste products between the blood and tissues. Veins are responsible for carrying blood back toward the heart. Systemic veins return deoxygenated blood via the vena cava, while pulmonary veins return oxygenated blood. Unlike arteries, these thin-walled vessels operate at lower pressures and often include valves to prevent backflow against gravity. This image provides a visual representation of venous anatomy and the supporting role of the circulatory system in returning blood to the heart.